You're the coolest, most dopest, most sweetest, most kindest, most humble, most generous person I've ever met in my entire life. I love you, and I hope you wake up to this message and feel beautiful and warm and happy, and just know that you can conquer the world and do absolutely anything you put your mind to. Good night. I love you.
My hope and dream for everybody that I know and love and care for is truly that they never have to go through this, but the inevitable fate that everyone on this planet will go through what I'm going through is almost forcing me to speak out so strongly about this. Losing anyone, but losing a soulmate and somebody you love is extremely difficult and extremely hard. It will change your entire way of thinking, your entire way of seeing, your entire way of being. And that's exactly what I'm going through. And the fact that everyone on this planet will go through this is just so sad and heartbreaking to me. But what I'm starting to realize is that there are very few who are going through losing a soulmate, an actual human being that they were physically and mentally and emotionally attached to. And that for me was Todd. And I have so much of our story to tell. I don't think I can tell it all in this one video, but there are so many facts that I just need to get out of my chest and out into the world so that everyone realizes how beautiful our story was and how amazing it was and how much he changed me. All the confidence, all the things that I do today, everything that I have the strength to do and that I am is partly because of him. He was the one in my ear every night, 3 or 4 hours on the phone, telling me I can do this, holding me when I was sad, being there when I had tears coming down my face. He changed my entire life. I've never had anybody love me so deeply and so purely than Todd. We met in 2014. Simple, classic Instagram, liking each other's pictures over and over again until finally he DMs me his phone number and I freaked out. It was one of the greatest times, like the greatest day of my life because I never thought he would reach out to me. And I remember just looking at all of his pictures, like, this is exactly the type of guy I like. He's so cute. I would love to be with him. But at the time, I was just being ballsy. I wasn't even thinking or knowing that he would ever like me for me. I thought for sure he was straight. And at that time, I had started doing drag. I was 22 years old, so I was a year into doing drag, and I was, not to toot my own horn, but toot, she was killing it. Running around, hopping on Paco 4 or 5 nights a week, shows here, at the bar here, just flipping her blonde hair, living her best life. So it was usual for straight guys to DM me or message me and date. And you know what? I was in my younger 20s and I sure as hell dated as both sexes. I dated as Jasmine and I dated as Nigel. Jasmine is now just relaxing and being a recording music artist. But back then, she was doing the live shows, she was doing all of everything she wanted to do, and she dated. So I knew and understood that Todd messaged me more interested in Jasmine, and he was liking all the Jasmine pictures when he was going through my Instagram. So when I messaged him back and let him know that we could meet up and we can definitely talk, and I was excited, I had to let him know that when I see you, like, I will, like, I don't mind being Jasmine down the line, but when I first meet you, like, I will be Nigel. And long story short, we started going out and hanging out, and he never stopped hanging out with Nigel. He inevitably fell in love with everything that I was and everything that I became the past 8 years. And that's why it shaped me so much, because back then I truly felt like I was only beautiful in drag. I did not believe I was beautiful as myself, and I had no confidence at all. And he was the one who started to open up every single door inside me and told me every single one of these layers is beautiful, everything about you is beautiful on the inside and the out. And this was told to me every day. This was told to me every night. This was told to me while we looked into each other's eyes for 4 or 5 hours talking about the universe and how much we wanted to change it. He was extremely brilliant, extremely smart, extremely beautiful. He knew every war, everything in American history. We watched over 600, hundreds, probably thousands of movies together. He knew all the writers, all the producers, all the directors, all the actors, everyone involved in every film that we've ever watched. He taught me so much. I will never forget being so nervous meeting him because I was just so intimidated by his charm and his beauty and his personality and everything that he knew. He would just talk to me on the phone about everything, but at the same time let me talk, and he listened and he believed in all of my dreams. I'm a crazy dreamer, and I never opened up to anybody as much as him with my dreams. I would tell him the most far-fetched, craziest things I wanted to do with my life and my career and with YouTube and music, everything, no matter, no, I would not hold back the least bit. And he would look me right in the eye and be like, more. You can do even more than that. He would literally tell me I could do more even than the biggest dreams that I had. He completely changed my life and just gave me this confidence that I have to reach out about, and I have to say that I had this and be grateful for it. And I didn't even realize this until I had played a couple of his voicemails on my Instagram and on my Facebook as well, and people were calling me to say they were sorry, but then they were calling back after they heard the voicemails, and they were like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know it was that. I didn't know that you had that. And that's when I started to realize and convert this grief over to gratefulness, because I can't believe I had 8 years of unconditional, real, true, honest, soul bonding love where we really, really knew everything about each other. We were with each other 3, 4 nights out of the week. We were really, really in love and just so involved with each other. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my entire life, and I definitely will never forget it. Todd and I were able to have a beautiful relationship for so many years, but because of his flirtatious attitude, promiscuity, and substance abuse problems, I did not feel comfortable being public about it. I was quite frankly embarrassed when it came to some of the things that he did, but at the same time, this was the person that I loved, and I never left his side and never stopped supporting him and never stopped dreaming of a day where he would get help and he would get better and be his better self. All the dreams and plans that he had, if he had had a sober lifestyle, were real. He very much dreamed of being with me, and he understood that this was the reason why we were not this official on Facebook, why we could not do certain things in public. I denied those things from him because of the issues that he had, and I was hoping that if I denied them long enough, that it would bring him to me and bring him to a place of wanting to be better so that he could really choose to chase after his own dreams as well as help support mine, and we could do it together. Normal people who have a soulmate, or normal people who are in love or have what I had, they go through this life together, they have each other's backs, but I had this really, really toxic situation where the person who I love the most and who loved me the most unfortunately loved one thing more than me, and that was inevitably the thing that took him away from me. And it's been extremely hard, but I know that this story can help so many people on so many different topics. So many different triggers are involved in this, but I need it to be told. I need people to love hard while they can. I need people to get help for the people who need help. I need for people to not give up on the people that they love. Know that once they are gone, if they are truly your soulmate, you will feel it. You will feel it forever. I can say this, like, this is not anything suicidal. I am not suicidal at all. But it's a very dark thought to think a part of me has died. Like, we were so physically and emotionally close that him leaving this earth, like, that's been the hardest part, is that he left, and a part of me has left with him. And I can feel it every day. It's the first thing I feel and the first thing I remember when I wake up. I wake up crying and I fall asleep crying, because when he was here, I woke up and I talked to him, or if I didn't talk to him, I already had a voicemail from him. And when I went to bed, I talked to him before I went to bed every single night. And if we wanted to talk to each, there were times where I woke up at 2:00 in the morning and he woke up at 2:00 in the morning, and we both needed to call each other just to hear the sound of each other's voice to make sure that we were breathing. We wanted to just double check on each other, and we both woke up in the middle of the night to make that phone call to each other. it was extremely real, and I can't believe I had this. And I've been around people who have been in relationships and even married, and there's a disconnection that you can see, you can feel it when you compare it to what him and I had. So it's very interesting. But as the years went on, these issues definitely started to get to me. And when we rolled up upon 2020, we did indefinitely break up, which crushed my heart. And I was very, very, very upset. He ended up dating somebody who was also very much like me, a guy who was a drag queen, and it broke my heart so bad. But I was able, luckily, that's what I mean by the story is beautiful in so many ways. Because yes, there is pain, there was anger, there was so much frustration in that moment, but that was the exact birth of my YouTube channel as well as my music for Jasmine Anastasia. That's when I truly said, I can do this. Like, everything that I want to do, I'm going to start doing it now. I didn't have any of those dreams or those thoughts or those ideas before he left to be with this new drag queen. I was flat. I had nothing. I thought of nothing that I needed to do. It was almost like I was so happy just to be with him, and I thought that that could just be my life, and I was fine with that. I stopped focusing and doing so much of even the physical drag during the years when we were together. But then finally in 2020, he ended up being with that other person, and it really gave me the time and the ability to burst onto the scene the way I'd always dreamed to. And I was able to start writing music, and everyone knows the story, or maybe you don't, but it started with the song. Like, I made the song Lick by Jasmine Anastasia, worked with producer B. Ames, and we put that out. And I wanted to make a music video. I created the music video at home, rearranged my room, totally makeshift music video, and I realized I needed a place to upload it to. Where do you upload videos? YouTube. Boom. Uploaded it to YouTube, saw an empty blank channel, and thought to myself, I can do this. And sure enough, I even brought that up to him, because throughout all of his life, we never really went more than a week without talking. So the minute I even said, I'm thinking about starting this channel, or I'm doing this for my song, or doing that, he was like, you should have been doing this years ago. And that was inevitably everybody's answer to me starting my channel was, you should have did this years ago. But the whole point is that I didn't have the confidence years ago. I was not the person I am that I was being with him. And when I was able to start it and it kicked off, that's when I found my true love for myself. And that's when I found my true love for my art and video and production and virtual drag. Like, I'm in music and music production. Like, that's when I really started to find the things that I love, which is crazy because I grew up doing theater and drag and drama and all types of things that are so fun to me and so amazing, such a part of my life, and have changed me and shaped me. But who would have thought that even this late, I can fall into all these new passions and completely rebuild all the things that I love. And that's what I was able to do when I broke off from him in 2020. And we spoke a lot throughout that. And then that relationship that he was in inevitably ended. And then we were able to reconnect throughout the pandemic, and he was the person that I spent so much of the pandemic with because I loved it. That whole flirtatious, promiscuous personality, no boo-boo, that's gone because, listen, living in the pandemic, you have who you have, and it was scary times. So it was beautiful for me because I didn't have to worry about him being out with the club and talking to so-and-so and tracking him down and all that. So I was able to be with him and spend so much time with him during the pandemic all the way up until this last summer and until he passed in September. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I chose to love hard. Like, despite his problems and despite the things that he put me through and the things that we went through together, things I went through my own, all of that, despite all of that, the whole point is I found somebody that I love, truly loves, and who truly loves me. And I fought through these issues to go be with him because in my heart, I knew something was going to take him away from me. And I never, ever, ever took anything for granted, and neither did he. It was extremely eerie. There were many nights where he would text me and say, do you want to come over? I would say, yeah, hell yeah. Like, a comic could hit tomorrow. And he'd be like, I know, I was just thinking that. Like, we thought the same. We thought every day was our last. We used to literally lay there and talk about how we done this before. Even we know that we've been together in past lives. It's extremely scary, and I know I probably sound so crazy, but I do not care right now. Like, this is as real as it gets. We would lay there and talk about the different lives that we had together and how they would flip flop, and how we were different people at different times and different eras, and we just felt that we find each other all the time. It was soul binding, star-crossed lovers. It was real. Like, it was everything, and we knew it. We would just look at each other, and we would kiss each other, and we would lean back and look each other in the eyes and be like, do you feel that? Like, have you? And I would ask, because I'm very nosy, I would be like, have you felt this on anybody else? And he would say no. And I believed him. Despite that promiscuous personality, I believed him. And there's just so many funny times. Like, the one time we went to Wawa, and like, I'm very, very jealous person. So I would, like, we would go to Wawa, and he would, like, say a little something, something cute to, even not even something cute, but he would just say thank you to, like, the girl at Wawa, the teller, whoever was checking him out. And I'd be like, oh, you saying thank you to her? Oh, you could, you know what? You could stay at Wawa. Stay at Wawa with her. You love her so much. Like, I would have him cracking up, and he would make me laugh also. We had so many inside jokes, but I was, like, always all the way serious. That's the other thing. But he was just my best friend, my lover, my boyfriend, my soulmate, my everything. And it was so beautiful and so dynamic. And I was so selfish with our relationship that I did not feel the need to be public about it, because I really just wanted to have something private, and I didn't need everyone coming for who I was with, which was already happening because he was popular in the city. He was popular all around. And by the way, if you were out in the city and throughout the past years feel like you may have talked to him or whatnot, had experiences with him, please know that I probably know, because first of all, I always went through his phone, as well as his computer, his Facebook, the Facebook messages, and as well as the Instagram DMs. So I know almost everything, and I've been looking in the phone for the past 8 years as well. So, yeah, so I'm very caught up. But so lots of people have DM'd me and said that they knew him from so and so, and I'm like, yeah, I know every single person who hit him up. But our closest and most beautiful summer and time together was definitely towards the end of this pandemic, this past summer, our last summer together. So eerie to say that I was with him all the way up until his death. And one of our last fights, unfortunately, last time I saw him, it was a fight. And the fight was about trying to avoid what happened. I was yelling and we were arguing, and it was all about him doing too much of everything. It was about the excess and the lifestyle that he was living, and I was straight up calling him out for it. It was a really bad fight, and he basically ended up just wanting to do what he wanted to do. So I left at like 4 in the morning, and I let time go by, and he, because when we would fight like this, and our major fight was me begging him to stop and be normal and be with me and live a normal, happy life. I could tell people about us. We could do different things. It could be different. And I was just not enough. It had got him. He was gone forever. And when this would happen, it was good for me, because we would get into our big fights, and if it wasn't for these big fights, we talked every day and every night on the hour. So when we got into these fights, I would take that time to work on myself, work out, film, really follow the dreams that I wanted to do, because I would spend so much time being with him and spending time with him and laying and listening to his heartbeat. Like, that's literally the type of stuff we would do. Like, it was very, very just romantic. We would just do romantic movie date nights, and I would lay and listen to his heartbeat. We would just talk about the world. Even when we drove in the car, we held hands while we were driving the entire time. We kissed at every stoplight. Just very passionate, romantic love. So when I had a break from those soul-binding experiences, I made sure I put myself to work, and I got done the things I needed to do. And then finally, a week or so had passed, never more than that, and he called and he apologized for doing too much, and he would leave voicemails, and I would ignore. I just wanted always a way out and a way, and he eventually apologized for that night. And of course, because I loved him and I do not ever want to waste another time of fighting, I forgave him, and we had made plans to be together, and he promised me that he would have a sober night, which he did very often for me. There were so many beautiful nights where he took nothing and everything was perfect, and those obviously are the ones that I love best. But there were just some nights I couldn't control him. He was too far gone even before I got there. But this particular night, he was going to be sober for me, and we were going to enjoy each other. And when I called him to say I was leaving, he never answered. And I got upset, thinking maybe he just went out hanging out with somebody else, doing something with, who knows. But I went out with my friends, and again, I let more days go by, and thinking that I'm not gonna call him. I'm mad at him because I was about to go over there for our sober night, and he never answered when I was calling to go over. But that Friday night was the night that he passed. So he was gone that night, and that's why he didn't answer when I was calling to say I was on my way over. And again, there's so much to be learned from this story. So many triggers, I know, guys, but it's a lot. I loved him so much, and I do love him to this day, and he begged to be on this channel. So here you go, Todd. You got the whole story out here, and this isn't even half of it. I'm thinking maybe a book, maybe. Drop a comment down below and let me know if you think that every single detail of the 8 years would be a learning experience for you to read, because I would make that if people thought that. There's so much that hasn't been said, but I wanted to say enough in this to just get it off my chest and let people know the ins and outs and the ups and downs, and how grateful and tragic and beautiful this experience was for me, and how different I'm going to be going forward, and why. And my wish for you all would be that if you find yourself in that soul-binding, earth-shattering, amazing, unforgiving, passionate love, please enjoy every second, because I'm okay right now and able to continue with my dreams as him and I discussed, because I lived every moment hard. I loved this boy to death. I literally loved him to death. And every time I went there, I just never knew when it was going to be the last, and I treated it as such. We would wrap each other's arms around each other, and that's how we slept for, like, we were one. If we were in the same room, we were one. We were always connected. We were both so scared of this day, and I would just beg him, slow down, don't do it, do less. I don't want to lose you. I love you so much. I don't know what I'm going to do if you're not here. Please don't do it. And it never stopped. So, and on that note, if you love someone who's living that life, you can always fight harder for them. Always fight harder. I know I gave it my all, but of course I sit back and I wonder, maybe I could have done more. But I'm gonna get stronger from this. I'll continue to tell this story and tell how he changed me in the both good and bad ways. I learned a whole journey from this, guys. You have to understand. I hope this sums it up even just a little bit, because all the years have been so, like, it's been a dramatic, crazy time, and in so many ways, this is a beautiful new start for me, because it was a toxic relationship. It was. And if he had still been here, I never would have stopped seeing him, because this is the person that I love most. And we have loved each other before, you know. But I do look forward to finding this soul binding, amazing love again. I really do. And I know I can find it again. This time with someone who is, you know, doing the right things for society's standards. It's necessary to have a family that's healthy. It's necessary to move forward in society a certain way. It really is. And although I never had that future with him, that never took away from the fact that that was the person I was supposed to be with, and that I was with before, and that I will be with again in another lifetime. So take what you want from this, I guess. There's so many lessons to be learned, but only the ones that are applicable to you should be thinking about. So I hope this changes a life. I hope it inspires a life or heals a life. Something. Hell, I don't even know. But that has always been the point of this channel. I want to keep it beautiful all the time, and I want to do music, and I want it to be so much fun and amazing things on here. But when real life happens like this, expect me to speak up. Expect me to really take some time to open up on a theme that I never thought I would have to deal with. This is without a doubt the closest person to me who has ever passed away, and my whole way of thinking and breathing and talking and seeing has changed. And it needs to be talked about. It really does. And I know I'm not alone. But I love you all. There's so much more of the story to be told. But like I said, I hope this was just enough for now. And just be good to one another. Love the people while they're here. When you please do not give up on anybody, and remember that love fuels your dreams. I love you guys.
Hey, I don't know what just came over me, but out of nowhere, I was like thinking about shit, and I haven't been on drugs in like over a week, anything. I was so sick in my room, Nigel. And I just thought to myself, like, holy shit. I was like, I'm alive. And like the past few days, I've been like feeling more and more like, this is what shit feels like? Like, I've been numb for so long. Like, it's weird. And like, I love you. And I was thinking about you just now, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, Nigel, um, I've, I smoked today. That's the only thing I've done. Like, a little bit ago. I'm just being completely honest with you, because I'm like, I just realized something. I'm like, yo, bro, I mean, there's just so much more I want to tell you, like, about myself. Like, I know you, like, I don't know. I love you, I don't know. But yeah, so I guess if you're awake, call me back. I just want to hear your voice, to be honest with you. But I hope you are happy right now, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling in your heart, and everything in life right now is going good for you. And I just, I don't know. I don't know, something in my heart just screamed, Nigel, and I was like, oh my God. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you're okay. Bye.
Hi, Nigel. This is Elaine. Todd's mom, I have some rather disturbing news. Todd passed. Todd died on September 24th. Okay, it was just EOD. He had a heart attack. I found him and he had him cremated. So call me back anytime you want to talk, love. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.